Morning. It is Monday again, 7:30 Central Time. I am so excited and scared all at the same time. Today we're talking about how to be a better spouse. Last Monday we talked about how to be a better husband, and we talked about how the man needs to pursue his wife. In Genesis 2:24, God said, "For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." We talked about it. It's very important that men realize when they were dating, they pursued that woman. They bought her gifts, they went to the movies, they spent time across the table from her, just staring into her eyes and telling her she was beautiful. And then they get married, and because they're left hemisphere oriented, they go about making a living. And they forget that she needs to be pursued. And not surprisingly, I had a bunch of men. When are you going to talk about the wives? And boy, that really hurt. Now I got to buy flowers or whatever. But when they were dating, they pursued her. They made her feel valuable and loved and precious. And she said, "This is the man for me." And then he forgot. He started doing, because he's left hemisphere oriented, conquer, dominate, succeed, facts. So he's going to go conquer the world. He's going to go build her a home. He's going to go make sure she has clothes and a house and food and the kids and all that stuff. It's not intentional. Excuse me. He's lured away by trying to be what he thinks is a good husband. But she feels neglected because she's not pursued anymore. And she says things like, "You just take me for granted." That's where that comes from, is that feeling of, you used to pursue me, now you do not. But if that works for the males, then I have to be equal to share with the women. If he's going to pursue you, you have to at least let him catch you every now and again. Now, yes, I'm going to talk about sex because men need basically two things. Respect is at the top, but that part of the way that respect is played out is the physical relationship being taken care of. Men cannot get their physical relationship taken care of any other way outside of marriage. And so for him to get his need met, it has to come through his spouse. Now, please don't, shut me off and get frustrated, but when men and women get married, it's really funny. They start talking about their honeymoon, and they took a week to go somewhere, 10 days to go somewhere, and they had physical relationships. Some of them every night for the first week, or three times that week, or whatever. And now, if he has sex three times in a month, it must be his birthday or their anniversary. And I know there's issues here. You want the man to pursue you when he doesn't feel like it, but somehow when you don't feel like having physical relationship, that's okay. But it's not. It creates frustration for the man. And I'm not saying it's right. Men should not, have affairs. Men should not be looking at pornography. I get all that. But a lot of times we add fuel to the fire. We open the door for them to be led astray because we stop meeting his physical need, and now he feels disrespected. He feels like he's not loved anymore and he's taken for granted. I know a house and food and clothing do not make up for, being pursued, but in his mind, he has provided for you. So the enemy takes our separation when we're not together physically and starts to use it against the men. And the Bible's very clear that the only time we should separate from being physically intimate on a long-term basis is when we're praying and fasting. And then it only has to be with mutual consent. So the enemy takes advantage of that, and that's what the scriptures teach, is that if you separate for too long, the enemy takes advantage of his weakness and your separation and plants thoughts in his head. So we have to be intentional and realize it's not about me feeling like having sex or being intimate, because he doesn't feel like going to work, but he has to go. He doesn't feel like taking out the trash, but he takes it out. He doesn't feel like a lot of things, but he does it because it's a part of the way he shows he loves you. It's a part of the way he knows this is what needs to be done. He goes to the movies. I go to the movies, and I don't even like 9% of the shows, but I go because I love my wife. So it's not about, well, when I feel like it. Just like buying flowers, I don't ever feel like buying flowers. Sorry. But when I do and I bring them home, I see my wife's face and I realize, wow, that was the right thing to do. And then my feelings catch up. Most of the time, it's that same way with physical relationship. You may not feel like it at the time, but after you have, been a part of that, it's not that bad. And if it's harmful, go see a doctor. Get come to church and let us pray for you to be healed, so that he can lay hands on you later. It's so important that we realize women need to feel pursued, men need the physical relationship. We're just different that way. In Genesis 2, he says he'll cleave unto his wife. That word cleave in the very beginning talks about this difference. The word cleave is one word, but it has two meanings. It means glued to, stuck to, adhered to. It literally means the physical relationship, sex. It also means, though, to follow in pursuit, to seek to pursue, to follow, to catch. It's what women call romance. And any more than women can help wanting to be romanced, men can't help wanting the physical relationship. My pastor says it this way: men are like the light switch, women are like an iron. The light switch you can turn on and off very, very easy, but the iron you have to plug in, warm up, and unplug and let it cool down. I think that's appropriate. So we realize that our needs are not the same as our spouses. And the only way those needs can be met are with the spouse. The wife's need for feeling romanced, to be told she's beautiful, to be told she's lovely, to be told she's a queen, to be talked about and bragged about, needs to be received from her husband at home, not at the office by some worker that she's, working with. That's how women fall. I got as many women hooked on chat rooms with some guy that's telling her she's beautiful as I do men hooked on pornography. It's because the need is real. And while the men can't understand the need for flowers, she can't understand his need for the physical relationship. Now, people often ask me how often is the right amount, and I can't tell you. I don't know. Whatever works for y'all. What I do know is that most of the time it's not enough. And the women use I'm tired as an excuse, I have a headache as an excuse. But the men could never use that for not going to work or for not mowing the lawn or all the other things that he's expected to do. Now, there is times when that's actually true, and the men need to be loving and kind and forgiving if he needs to. Um, but it can't be an excuse all the time, or it lends itself to the enemy planting a seed in his heart. So we do it as often as is necessary to be loved. That's the driving force. I do this out of love, not out of obligation, and certainly not out of payment, or I'm going to make you pay, or if you don't do this. None of those things work. He needs to buy flowers. He needs to pursue out of love, not out of obligation. But because he's factual oriented, the telephone works for him, where he can program in his calendar, I need to buy flowers, I need to call her, I need to check on her. So I know this is going to create issues. It always does. There are three things at the top of the food chain when it comes to divorce, though. Three things are at the top of the food chain. Number one is communication, and it's always number one. We need to communicate our needs. We need to communicate effectively. Number two and three, they flip between two and three, but two and three are finances, money, and sex and romance. It's because it's so deeply ingrained in us to feel pursued, to need the physical relationship, that it's at the top of the food chain. So, my encouragement would be remember when you got married and the things you did, men, to make her feel valued and pursued, and to keep doing that. And women, remember how important it was for you to meet his need in the beginning, and how much you enjoyed doing that because you loved him and you knew this was his need. If we will choose to meet one another's needs, whether the other one does or not, because we love God, those things will be reciprocated in time. And so, again, I love y'all so much. I know this is going to create issues for me, but somebody has to say it. Might as well be me. Y'all have a great week. We will look to next week talking about the marriage relationship and getting off this subject, maybe talking about other things a little less edgy. So, look forward to seeing you next week. Please click the thumbs up for me. You like this, and share it with someone else. And together we'll change thousands of lives. Be blessed.